your art killed Michael Jackson?
My art killed him, basically.
Good evening, listeners, brave navigators of the enigmatic and the concealed. Have you ever felt the pull of the unanswered, the allure of the mysteries that shroud our existence? For more than a decade, a unique comic publisher has dared to dive into these mysteries, unafraid of the secrets they might uncover. This audacious entity is Paranoid American. Welcome to the mystifying universe of the Paranoid American podcast.
Launched in the year 2012, Paranoid American has been on a mission to decipher the encrypted secrets of our world. From the unnerving enigma of MK Ultra mind control to the clandestine assemblies of secret societies. From the awe-inspiring frontiers of forbidden technology to the arcane patterns of occult symbols in our very own pop culture. They have committed to unveiling the concealed realities that lie just beneath the surface. Join us as we navigate these intricate landscapes, decoding the hidden scripts of our society and challenging the accepted perceptions of reality.
Folks, I've got a big problem on my hands. There's a company called Paranoid American making all these funny memes and comics. Now, I'm a fair guy. I believe in free speech as long as it doesn't cross the line. And if these AI-generated memes dare to make fun of me, they're crossing the line.
This is your expedition into the realm of the extraordinary, the secret, the shrouded. Come with us as we sift through the world's grand mysteries, question the standardized narratives, and brave the cryptic labyrinth of the concealed truth. So strap yourselves in, broaden your horizons, and steel yourselves for a voyage into the enigmatic heart of the Paranoid American podcast, where each story, every image, every revelation brings us one step closer to the elusive truth.
I've got an all-time Paranoid American MVP, the angelic, the beautiful, the handsome Dave MacDowell. He's an incredibly talented artist. If you've seen the Paranoid American History 101, he did the cover for that. If you want to see some of the upcoming inserts on the conspiracy cards, he did those, the 101 hand-drawn artists. No AI needed. This guy is an absolute animal. Look at the facial expression. How you doing, Dave, man? First time that we're meeting like face to face, so to speak, too, right?
I'm great. And my face and your face together make like the Statue of Liberty or something American. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think she's actually French and androgynous.
Right. And you're right. It's a man like Michelle Obama. But let's not get into conspiracies right now, even though we are Paranoid American.
I mean, we're kind of here to talk about conspiracy and artwork and pretty much anything else that you've got going on. But you mentioned some LA, Hollywood, California experience. Like, you've lived the circuit. You've been in and out of the parties. Like, I want to get some deets, man. Give me some. I hope that we're going to hear some crazy Hollywood stories that no one's told before.
Well, it's not really, I don't really think of it that way because it's more like a spiritual thing. And it's more like I'm full of Christ. And so I can go anywhere and a man can walk in darkness and it's nothing but dark and stupid people and open doors to wherever you want to go. And everyone sucks your ass when you go to California. They're like, hey man, how you doing? Oh my God. It's like a long lost friend. And,
there is something charming about it because the first and only time that I went to California, I went and stayed in Burbank for like a week. It was when I was at Disney. It was like work related, but and I had all these people that I had been talking to online or email that had like various projects going on. So I used all that time to go and like see as many people as I could. And yeah, I got my ass sucked like nonstop because there's this transactional quality to every single interaction, whether you're hanging out at a bar or you're like meeting over tacos for lunch or just calling on the phone. Everything felt like so objectively transactional. And if there wasn't a benefit for both parties, there was no conversation to be had. And it was just a very specific feeling that I didn't get outside of Burbank.
It's weird because it's real people. It's real people here. But then you go to California and it's fake people. And they're fake, and you have to have something to offer, and you don't even have to say I'm this or that. or whoever you are, you could be Joe Schmo and they'll kiss your ass, dude, and they'll love you a long time. And it's so beautiful, but yet it's so empty. And it's very just, you could live in a shell eventually. And that's what happened to me. I fucking just said, this is so stupid, man. Just go home, create art. That's what got you here. The galleries are here. Just be yourself and don't talk to anybody. And who really cares? And that's really what I've been doing, basically, probably the past 5 years or something.
What was the original dream going to California with as art? Is it to just get your art in galleries? Was it to like mingle with musicians and celebrities and get your art seen by them? Like what's the ultimate motivation?
Yeah, celebrities and all that shit like don't matter to me. It doesn't matter. So
then why California of all places?
Because that's where the studios were, and that's where like I was being kicked out of my house. I was going through a divorce, and I set up a property in the shed that I'm living at right now on my mom's property. And I just painted, dude. I painted and got shows, got like big shows. And then, so it was like, yeah, studios are right there. I don't have to pay shipping or whatever. So I moved there and couch crashed for a while, and then eventually got on my feet, made a lot of money, and doors were open up to me, like, but now they're closed again for some reason. Maybe
what did you do?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know, man. Maybe I got too old. It's like Michael Jackson. Once you're like 13, he doesn't want you anymore. And that's what happened. They don't want you anymore.
Well, let's not start taking shots at MJ.
Right.
Just completely out of nowhere. We'll get into that. We'll talk about that in the PCP segment.
I think all music should just have every fucking song should have or yeah or all right.
So, well, I think, my dogs are going crazy now. I think that so much of your artwork that I see and I connect with, it is like Hollywood actors or famous parts in movies, and it's kind of repurposing. I almost look at like the way that I view and sometimes make derivative art based on other people's is like I'm sampling things that were like put into my mind without my necessary approval. Like the amount of times that I've had to see Pulp Fiction, even though it's a good movie, even though I've willingly seen it, but just the memes and the references, it becomes a thing that even if you don't know what Pulp Fiction is, you still know what it is because you see these frames and you hear these quotes and you get all these pop culture references that you can't escape. And I love how that becomes part of your canvas. Like you just like dip your paintbrush in some of these like pop culture motifs, but then you make it very unappealing in some ways, in a good way, like a good unappealing. Like all of a sudden Prince's head's coming out of a vagina and you don't really understand why. And you have to step back and figure out what you're looking at.
I sold the Prince. I sold Michael Jackson, saw my shit and didn't want it. And it had
what did he see specifically?
He died like 2 days later. So
your art killed Michael Jackson?
My art killed him, basically. It had Lisa Marie on it, like crying at Elvis. And I don't know, man, but Elvis was like a lizard guy or something, or I don't know.
What year is this? I forgot what year he died.
Whatever year, 2006 or.
Okay, so you were talking lizard people in the mid 2000s. You didn't have to wait for COVID to get hip to all this.
No, I knew all this anyway. Growing up, basically,
We'll get into that.
I always saw it differently. I think my parents were into witchcraft, and they were into horror and just nasty things, but yet I was a Christian, and so they didn't want to hear anything about anything of my life. And it's still that way to this day.
But you were Christian while your parents were into witchcraft?
Yeah, basically.
So you entered Christianity on your own accord despite your parents.
Yeah, it was more of calling, like God chooses you in a way. It's like I
Really?
saw ghosts. I saw a lot of different things, but it was mostly like a dude turned me on to it and speaking in tongues and all that. And I thought, like, yeah, that's cool. So I'm a Christian. I smoke pot. I drink a lot, and I got a girlfriend with big boobs. So I got it all. And I did have
What kind of Christianity? I mean, not non-denominational, but when you say speaking in tongues, my mind goes right to like Pentecostal or something.
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I know what demonic possession looks like, but I don't know. I mean, just watch The Exorcist and see, I guess. But otherwise, yeah, there was a lot of that. And then a lot of just making my own way and finding myself and doing whatever I was doing. And
Is this in California? Did you find Christianity in California?
no, that was like when I was 16. So it's been like 20 something years that I've been a Christian, and probably almost 30 years. I was very young at the time, and that's when I thought I had it all and everything. And then you live and learn, and then you start meeting people, and you start saving people, and you start changing people, and you go to church, and then you go to different churches, and then you meet people who glow, and you meet people who are just standing out, and people who are definitely touched by God, and it makes you so in love with them. But then, there's no way to get closer to God than God himself. And so you could smoke all the pot or drink or have big boobs or whatever, but it's only here on earth a limited time. And then we die and go back to whatever.
Have you sampled any of the other offerings out there? Like looked into Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, Mormonism?
I have sampled them. I mean, there is nothing can compare. I mean,
what is it about Christianity then?
Christianity is more like a personal thing. It's more like God is within. Like if I go to church, I'll feel Jesus Christ under my skin. Like I'll feel him like I'm wearing a mask or a flesh suit or a meat suit. And basically he lives within me so much that and you start seeing things and hearing things and just an all-knowing presence that is with you 24/7, And,
It's wild to hear this just because it's the opposite experience that I grew up with, where I was raised Christian, and then around, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14, I wandered off into that dark corner of a Barnes and Noble, and they had all the pagan and occult stuff, and it felt like, oh, this is interesting. This is like the stuff that I've been kept away from. And you were the opposite, right? Like you grew up with parents that were into witchcraft and I guess a generic occult, and then you get introduced to Christianity around the same time, and you're like, oh, this is a path for me. So it's actually kind of interesting to hear the opposite approach to this.
But it's still the same, though. It's the same exact thing, though, because when you have to know the enemy, you have to know who you're walking with. So you have to know Christianity, and I have to know evil. And so I grew up with evil, so I already know it. You know what I mean? So when I moved out to California, I already knew that everybody was fucking twisted. I already knew that everybody was warped in some way. I already knew, and I kept it to myself. And that was the perfect disguise, because deep inside, no one knew that. No one knew that of what I carried inside, because when you have a soul, that means that is more priceless than any amount of money or anything. And believe me, they don't need to know that. They just need money, Rich. They want money and all that. So just act like you have money. Walk in any room, act like you got money, and they love you a long time, you know. So
Well, when you say knowing like the enemy and evil, is it like, did you think that your parents were evil once you became Christian? Did you start seeing them as like evil, or just that they were misguided and following a different religion, like a wrong thing?
I think you love people regardless of who you love. And
Mhm.
so if you love them, they're the closest thing to God that I have. So of course I love them to this day, you know, and but yet I know not to bring up certain topics or certain things or certain because they don't want to hear it. They just don't want to hear it. They don't want to be
What would be what would be the one statement you could make at like Christmas dinner that would just ruin the entire thing? Like, was there like a certain hot topic that you can't bring up?
Yeah, let's not even go there. You know what I mean? Like, it's there. Yeah, let's not even just act stupid. Act like you don't even know anything, and they'll love you forever if you just act stupid and act like, oh, okay, and act like they're mommy and daddy and pretend and just pretend. Because if you bring up all the other stuff, like, oh, I heard you having sex, and I heard you doing this or that. Why do that? Why bring up things? Why bring up?
But you do it through your artwork, right? So maybe not in a conversation, but I can definitely see all of these influences coming out in your paintings. So, like, how, like, are they aware of the artwork that you make? They don't come in and like, oh, that's nice that you're working on Obama coming out of the asshole of a leprechaun. That's nice, honey.
I think they just want me to work. They don't care how much money I make or who I talk to or what is what. They're not impressed whatsoever by it. They don't care. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I know Michael Jackson, and no one cares, man. So what? You know what I mean? Like, and it's weird in California. It's like, oh yeah, Catherine Jackson. I work in a medical records place, so I see the mother. I know the mother really well, and you know, once in a while, Janet comes in and sees how her mother is and all that. It's just like it blurs you and it makes you so like nihilistic and not even care about whatsoever about anybody because anybody could be a celebrity. Anybody can. And it's like they sucked a lot of dick to get to where they are. You know what I mean? Or they get thrown off, or you get thrown off if you don't suck dick or drink the blood or do the magic thing or whatever. You're going to be tossed aside. And I wouldn't do that. There's one thing I wouldn't do is eat a baby or kill a baby or kill anything or kill anything. You know,
Have you heard of any actual, like, not just rumors, but like an anecdote that you heard where someone engaged in something along those lines in Hollywood?
Yes.
Give me some deets, man.
J.J. Abrams, you know, Steven Spielberg, everybody on the QAnon list basically is a pedophile. There's weird people out there, and they're nicest people you would ever meet in your life. They'll do anything for you. They don't care. But, or Pete Davidson, it's like, wow, he's banging all these girls. He must have a big Johnson or something. No, dude, he's a satanic priest or whatever. And so you get into all that, but who cares? What does Pete Davidson have to do with my life? You know what I mean? So you carry on with your life. I don't care about Pete Davidson. I don't want anything from them. I don't want fame or fortune or any of that crap. I mean, I do, but I'll have to do it in my way or our way. but not their way, because their way is easy, and you might as well be hard because you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore. So be hardcore, bro.
Well, what's your current motivation for doing artwork? Because I guess superficially, a lot of artists that I know, their ultimate goal is I want to be able to make artwork for some movie studio or get into Marvel or DC or whatever. It's basically once they get to put their artwork and get it stamped by some big corporate or celebrity name, I want to do the artwork of a Drake album or, random examples like that. That's kind of the top level. Or it's, I want to get my stuff into galleries and make, boatloads of money. But it sounds like it's not necessarily one of those two for you.
It was that way, but it came to me though. I didn't have to knock on doors. It came to me like, oh, Green Day wants to talk to you. So I'll talk to Green Day, and I see they're a bunch of fucking weirdos.
What year is this?
Like 6 years ago, 7 years. Okay,
I'm just wondering if this is like early Green Day or like post like.
Yeah, be like, man, I had Dookie when I was 13 and shit. Oh my God, you're the first band I ever saw and shit. Meanwhile, you suck, dude. Green Day sucks. And most of the time they rip you off. They'll take your idea, like, oh, we want a studio or we want a stadium, where it's like, see, and then you do a stadium, a quick drawing, and they're like, no, we want somebody else. And then the tour poster is a stadium. And it's like, you fucker, you stole from me. And time and time, KRS-One did that. A bunch of people that did that. So there
was that a KRS-One concert poster or an album cover?
Album cover with Buckshot, I think, at the time. And it's like, we want it climbing up a mountain and we want us to like be over a fire. And so I did exactly that. And then, oh, we don't want you. No, just send us the bill. And, thanks for your time. Thank you. And then you look at the album cover, there they are, the same exact thing I drew, but yet they posed it. So it's like, should I sue their ass? No, I'm not litigious. So fuck it, man. I don't listen to KRS-One anyway. I mean, who cares? So you learn to get burned. You know what I mean? Like,
I do, man. I mean, because my big dreams originally were in the music industry, and I got a taste of it. I got to get placement on, MTV and VH1. I started working with artists, and it was the same experience. Like, oh my God, I was listening to you when I'm not going to drop any names right now. I won't get too deep. But like, I've been listening, like you're like, I'm a fan. I'm a lifelong fan. And now we get to work together. It's amazing. And then fast forward, and it's just like ripping you off and taking advantage. And then I realized too, at a certain point, it wasn't personal. That was the industry. The industry is just based on people screwing their friends over and screwing people over constantly to just get like one extra rung up. And if you're not in for that type of game, then maybe the music industry is not for you. And I abandoned it. I was just like, if I'm ever going to enjoy music again, I'm going to have to find a different way to make money and let music be music and not music be business.
That's exactly it. And it goes the same with business and finance and everything. It's like someone was saying today, I talked to them a little bit, and it's like, in the past 15 years, it's like boiling the frog. Things have gotten worse. I mean, and we have this president here who I love. Don't get me wrong, I love the guy, but he is a stage actor and he's acting, and everything is a soap opera. Every day is a soap opera. It's like everybody's getting killed all around me, but yet we focus on this one thing of, to push left versus right and all this shit when it's really just all the same stuff, and it's just that you consume and you eat it and you love it and you talk about it and you have an opinion about it, when really it's just the same old garbage that we've been eating for the past probably 100 years, more than that, a little bit. I think banking systems and foreign money and all those things have taken over our country. We have no country. This is a business. And, as far as I can see, and it's getting worse and worse, and it will get worse and worse until we all fall down. And that's it, and hit our heads and wake up to something. We'll probably die. Every day I'm waiting for some explosion somewhere.
The optimistic part of me that looks for maybe the silver lining is that the silver lining is maybe it takes 100,000 years to get to the very, very bottom of the bucket before everything is completely hopeless.
We're not there yet.
I know. I think even if we're on that trajectory, I don't think it's in our lifetimes or in the lifetimes of our great, 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 great grandchildren. I think it is so far in things are going to have to get really, really bad before it gets that horrible. And it's so easy to assume that, but I think part of it too just makes people feel a little bit special. Like, oh, the world's going to end during my lifetime. Like, that's how special I am. I'm going to be I'll be the last one to see the big fireworks show.
Well, at first it was like, yeah, I'll be the one, man. This generation's the one and shit. And then it's like, no, dude, we're going to go out like Planet of the Apes. We're going to go out and then we're going to come back and realize, oh my God, you blew it up. And holy shit, oh my God, I was on the earth the whole time. And yeah, someday we'll figure it out. That's why we keep bringing back like Jesus Christ and Christ like the Matrix, Christ like figures and all those. People love that shit because it's like, we need a savior. We need a hero. We need someone to save us. We need and really we have nobody. We walk alone. We get pooped on constantly, and you either laugh or you cry, basically. But
where are you at on historical Jesus? If you're a Christian and you believe in like the concepts of good and evil, do you think that Jesus was real human boy and just no one wrote about him until after he died and then it became really popular? Or do you think that there's a chance that the Jesus that we're talking about, like in Christianity, is like an egregore or is some kind of an amalgamation of multiple things?
I think that I have no idea. And you know what? I think like a child about it. I don't eat steak. I drink milk. I drink from the teat of humanity. And I have no idea. And, if I really think about it, there is no God. There is no Christ. There is nothing. We all live and die the same. But I dreamed, or I know, at a very young age, probably 1 year old, that I was chosen. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but I was this light outshining in the Milky Way, and I was chosen to come to Earth and I was born. And thus, who knows why? I don't know why yet. But I know where we're going, though, and we're going back to stardust. We're going back to being bright, shiny objects who have no feelings, just happiness and joy and love and all those things. So I don't think, as far as like heaven and all that stuff, I think that's like what dreams may come and shit. Like, oh my God, things are going to be like so beautiful in heaven. No, there is no heaven or hell. Hell is earth. Hell is living Earth, basically. And you live through it, and you choose. You have a big choice here. Even though you don't have a choice, you have somewhat a choice to either give up, give in, or just keep going. And just keep going is the right way, I guess. Just keep going.
Do you think you get to come back?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't
Like,
know.
is this your only shot? Like once you get to come here and then you go back into Stardust, like you never get to come back?
I think I don't think you get to come back because there's so many fucking people, dude. There's like billions and billions of people. I don't think that you come back. I mean, that's kind of a religious thing, like, oh, screw the people who, believe that or whatever. I think there's such a massive amount that chances are you have your shot and you'll go back home, whatever home is, and you'll float above the Earth or wherever solar system you are and be happy. And just, but you don't need anybody. You don't need anything. You don't need all you have is God's love, and that's all you need.
Sounds like a universe full of freeloaders.
Basically, you know what I mean? It's just a bunch of people hanging around. But they're not really people, though. They're more like souls or whatever. And they're just full of light. They're like a star in the sky. You're basically like a little star, basically. It's kind of like Inside Out, or not Inside Out, Soul, that movie Soul with Eddie Murphy or whatever. It's you float above. You just float above. And I was floating above Earth one day, and someone said, "You need to go down there and do whatever." And I said, "Okay, derp, okay." And boom, someone slapped me in the ass, and here I am right now. But once everything is said and done, hopefully I'll go back with a cool story to tell. Like, man, when I was on Earth, holy crap. Oh my God! You wouldn't.
I went down to Earth and I killed Michael Jackson with my artwork.
Yeah, you know what? Is that worth it or what? Though, come on.
Just the anecdote to be able to say it and then have a reason to back it up, I think it is worth it. I am interested though, because if you're saying ultimately no heaven, no hell, then why does it even matter if you're an evil witchcraft, using pagan, or a good boy Christian? Like, if there's no heaven and no hell anyways, and you're just going to go back to Stardust, isn't it just like that's your personal preference while you're here for a short time?
Well, they say that God has a sense of humor, and the whole thing is irony. So, of course, I would be born into anti-religious parents who were fucking Satanists or whatever. Of course, I'd go to the land of Satan to push my artwork. Of course, like, their ironies are so thick you could cut it with a knife here. I mean, of course you're going to jump into the belly of the beast. Why not? There's nothing else to do, so you might as well do it. And you have no choice. You're going to do it because there's something in you that makes you have to do it. It's like Lord of the Rings. Like, I'm gonna jump in this fire and and be the bearer of the ring or whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't matter. You're going to fight whatever you fight. You're gonna live however you live or whatever. But in the end, that's all you wrote. So you might as well make your story as interesting as possible. I've been on Carson Daly's show. I've been on all these things, and you know what? What
was the context for that?
They love my artwork. I think they love my artwork. He loved my artwork. And so they put me on with Walter Goggins and Tara P. Henson or whatever. But that was 15 years ago or whatever. But
Yeah, if this is 15 years ago, Walter Goggins, we're talking like Shield era, right? This is like back when he first came out before he even really got pretty big.
I guess so. I guess he's big now. I have no idea. I don't really follow the guy. I saw him on Sons of Anarchy as a tranny or something, and it's like, wow,
Right.
the guy's pretty good. He's a good actor or whatever. Otherwise, he's boring as hell. Who cares about these people? Really, I can name.
How did that go? Like, what do you remember? What artwork Carson Daly or whoever else saw that got you an in and an invite onto that show?
I think it was the Lebowski stuff, maybe. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I just did that for the money. I never even saw the friggin' movie. Half of the things I do are just for the money. You know what I mean? For the money to pay rent. You know what I mean? That's all you're going to do is just otherwise exist or whatever. But if you can use it as a leeway or a form of branding or a form of, it'll get your name out there. And basically, they came to me. I didn't come to Will Wheaton, Kevin Smith. All these people bought artwork, but they don't care. They'll pay $150 and they don't care. And then they'll have you sign like this release form of 1,000 pages to NBC Universal. And
Yeah, in all perpetuity throughout the universe for all of time. Yeah.
yeah, and who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it's something you'd expect. You may be an asshole, but you're a good asshole. You know what I mean? And they are good at what they do. They're the best. You know what I mean? It's like you could joke about sucking dick or whatever, or sleeping the casting couch or sleeping your way to fame and all that shit. Well, that's true. It is true, but you have to be satanic. Basically, you have to basically kill the baby. Do you know what I mean? And love it so deeply that they don't think twice that you would do it again. It's like P. Diddy was into that. Fucking all these people are into it. Now it's just finally coming out or whatever. But
yeah, to go real deep on that topic, the Fritz Springmeier 13 Bloodlines author, and he also wrote like How to Create an Undetectable Mind Control Slave and all. And one of the ingredients where he's describing how you create these multiple personalities and like the highest levels of these satanic covens is it's not that you're just an evil person that willing to do horrific things, but that you also need to be capable of love, that you need to be able to nurture, like raise a child and give them unconditional love so that they know what love is, so that when you then take it back away or do something horrible, it's that much like worse, right? Like if you're born and you're already neglected and you've never even known love, I guess there's something not as satisfying about the torture that follows unless you start with love. Like you have to put them into an absolute state of love and then torture them. And for some reason, that delta makes all the difference.
It's the same with anybody's parents have died. Anyone famous. You look at their family, they were sacrificed, basically. I don't know how or why or when or if or, were they sacrificed by they themselves sticking the knife in, or were they sacrificed by, but either way, it's a sacrifice. Oh, my mama just had a heart attack. I don't know why. Oh, she did have a bad heart, though. No, you're about to get famous. That's why. Okay. Just to break it down for you. Like they don't know, you have to give your firstborn up. It's a religious thing. You have to give your firstborn up. You have to give something you love or some possession or something that's so deep to you that you would never part with it. And then you part with it. And boy, do riches come after that, It's like, but then what do you do after that? Do you Does it last forever? Like Bob Dylan, like, oh, you sell your soul and shit to the devil, and then you get rich and shit. It's like, yeah, that pretty much does happen, I guess. But, I don't know.
But ultimately, let's say you go down that path and you get rich and you do horrific things. There's still a chance you just end up as stardust again. No consequence, no karmic retribution, nothing.
That's what happens. But then I think there is. See, I was on the good side. Maybe there is a bad side. I'm not sure because I haven't never been there. I've seen it on Earth here and there, everywhere, basically. But a goodie and a baddie, and there's nothing but baddies in Cali. There's some goodies. There's some really good people out there, and there's people to trust and people to love and people. But then again, there are baddies. And I can name the baddies. I'll name them all. But who cares, though? I mean, just because you're into Satan or Scientology, or it doesn't matter. You're a baddie. You'll always be a baddie, and you'll talk shit about Trump. And then anything to make you bad, anything to make you liberal, or to be ugly like meathead and all that. Go ahead, be that, man. Be that. That's not how I'm living. There are people, I've seen you interview them where it's like they got this close to fame, and then all of a sudden they're living in North Hollywood somewhere. And they're like, I come from North Hollywood. I lived there for like 8 years, the rent is gone up 3 times as much since then. But it's like there's people who get so close and then they don't want them anymore. You know what I mean? And it's like you could see the sparkle in their eyes. Like, you were talented. Oh, my God. You had this hit record and you were famous and all that. What happened? You want to say what happened, but you kind of bite your lip a little bit. And it's like, well, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. That's what happened, basically. So
you didn't eat the baby.
Yeah, you didn't eat the baby. You didn't sacrifice. You didn't get involved with stuff you shouldn't be involved with. That's the good part about being a Christian, is that you could go anywhere. You could walk into a room and everybody stares at you. 40 people stare at you. And you could just casually back out of the room and walk away and think, that is a room I do not want to be in right now. That is the crazy people are in there. And you don't go in there. You just, there's people out there who are like good and bad, and there's good and bad in everybody, but the worst I've done is probably way worse that someone else has done. So don't be.
Have you killed a person?
You could kill a piece. You could kill as long as it's justified. I think there is like a lot to do with the 10 Commandments and Catholicism and Christianity and like all those religions that have passed down through man. I think that there is like, don't covet thy neighbor. In other words, don't.
But that's all old. 10 Commandments is all Old Testament, right? So if we're truly Christian, we don't really have to worry about what his dad's rules were. We just got to worry about what his rules are.
No. Well, you don't break certain things. You don't go into someone's house and start shitting on the carpet. You don't poop all over their sofa and expect, well, I could do whatever I want because I'm this or that. No, you have to follow certain rules. You know what I mean? Like the big part of Fight Club is you don't mention Fight Club. Well, you don't break certain rules. You don't kill. You don't. You see, but that's part of having a soul. And I've met so many soulless people that at this point, who cares? You know what I mean? So what? You know, life goes on, basically.
I think the best analogy that I've been able to figure out so far, it's constantly evolving, but again, it's almost like what we're describing as Christianity or Christ or whatever your personal interpretation of that is. To me, it feels like it's a recipe. It's like, here's how you can do a thing and the best way that you can do it. And not everyone knows how to follow every single step the right way. Not everyone's got all the same ingredients. So everyone's version of that recipe comes out a little bit differently. But ultimately, it's better off if everyone's trying to bake a cake constantly instead of just throwing shit around at each other. And that's sort of the overall benefit, whether you believe in it or not, whether you think there's an afterlife or not, whether you even believe in good or evil, there's like an objective net positive result by just following the formula versus not following the formula. And I think that part is so much more compelling to me than any sort of spiritual or like moralistic debate over like, philosophically, is this right or not? It seems like objectively there is a positive benefit to everyone when this thing is followed versus all the examples of everything that came before it that were followed.
That's exactly it. That's it. You nailed that. Next.
Well, next is I'm gonna make a good case for Mormonism, man. Especially since
Go ahead, go for it.
Are we good for Mormonism?
Yeah, I'm good with all the religions or whatever, as long as it doesn't lead to Satanism, which.
I mean, so therein lies the rub, though, because there are a lot of critics of. So I'm using Mormonism as an example of many that I could bring up, but Mormonism that it was ultimately founded on like Solomonic magic that was found in old grimoires, and that was combined with like talismanic magic and Masonic, like sort of like classic medieval magic, and it was used to absorb all the remaining folk in the middle country, right? Like everyone in the middle of the country that wasn't necessarily a Catholic or a Jesuit or a this or that. They kind of were just ascribed to general folk magic, and Mormonism was able to take all of that folk magic and be like, actually, you guys are really Mormon if you think about it. And like, oh yeah, I guess we are Mormon. But that the criticism leveraged against that is that no, it is ultimately all pagan, goetic, Solomonic magic, and it's not necessarily based in Christianity, and therefore it's dark evil, Satanism. I mean, I'm making broad strokes there, but that's one of the things leveraged against it. This is very similar that if you were to get someone deep into criticism of Scientology, that Scientology doesn't exist without L. Ron Hubbard, and L. Ron Hubbard doesn't make Scientology without his fascination with Aleister Crowley and OTO. So therefore, Scientology is an extension of the great beast number 666, right? So you can almost tie any non-Christian and some Christian denominations directly to Satanism, depending on how far you're willing to stretch.
You can, and it's all made by humans, right? I mean, everything boils down to John Smith or L. Ron Hubbard, or it's all based on humans who said, let's start a religion. Or
John or Paul or Luke or Matthew or
Lynn or whoever, transphobes, fucking whoever. It doesn't matter, as long as it's divinely touched by God himself. You would never know. You would follow a religion till you die. There are people who are retarded who have read miraculous, beautiful things that I've seen coming out of their mouths. And there's people who are rich and people who have so much money and people who are so smart, do the stupidest things. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me, but it matters to them. And hopefully on their deathbed, they'll give themselves over to God and say, well, like Scott Adams, you might as well give it a shot. I've been a non-believer my whole life. what are the chances anyway? So yes, I give myself to you and let me die, and boom, you're dead.
Right. We're talking Pascal's wager. Although I wonder, I mean, if God is this great comedian or he's got this great sense of humor, he probably likes that. He probably enjoys Pascal wager sort of debates. But I also wonder if it's real, right? Would Pascal's, and let's say he doesn't have a great sense of humor, I don't know if Pascal's wager would cut it. I don't know if him being like, look, bud, I can tell you were hedging your bets and you didn't really, really believe the way that I wanted you to believe. You're out of here. Like Pascal's wager seems like sort of a weak approach to it.
It's the same thing though, because God, that's exactly what God would say. He would say, hey man, you fooled me this whole time, but you know what? You're fooling yourself, and bye, and send you off until the forbidden zone or wherever. It doesn't matter. There's no fooling. This has been going on for centuries, if not millennium. This has been going on. There's good versus evil. And it's like either you're good or you're evil. And I know you're not, but I know certain people who are. And I know certain people that are good, but you can't fool, you can't trick, you can't, there's no way that, I had you this whole time and then I'm going to let you go. That never happens, ever. God doesn't make garbage. There's a reason that Paranoid American exists. There's a reason that I'm talking to you right now. There's a reason for it. I don't know the reason. I really don't,
Oh, it's for AI to train on this conversation. That's the reason.
Well, it could be, and we'll all be dead, or robots will kill us or whatever. Good, so be it. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's not my lifetime, but if I'm there to see it, then so be it, There's no telling the future. There's only here and now. I mean, I've been to many a psychic, and they can tell, like, oh my God, your mother has cancer and your father is this or that. And it's like, oh my God, you know exactly everything. Oh my God. But they only know the past. They don't know the future. And they know the here and now as you breathe and as you blink and poop yourself. But they don't know the future. There's no way to tell the future. Only you make the future. We're given free will or whatever, but in so many ways, like me going out to California, don't you think that exactly to the day I'd wind up here in New York 15 years later? It's because they don't want me there. God don't want me there anymore. So God will send me back, but God doesn't want me there anymore. There's a reason that I'm here. You know what I mean? In the bigger picture of things, don't you think that everything is controlled by not God or AI or whatever? Everything is controlled by somebody or something or someone that sets your time limit as to where you are, as to what you'll do, as to what you'll say and do. Like having a girlfriend. That was so many girlfriends ago. Why is she important? Like I can only count like 7 girls that I've been with. And, it's like, why is the one here right now? Or why is there's no way to put your finger on it. It is what it is. And that means that it is meant to be. There is no way out of this. There's no one here gets out alive. Well, no one here gets out alive, but no one here gets out without, hopefully they'll know, like I know, that there's a time and place for everything. And I think that we're all pretty much doomed or not doomed to face ourselves and to face your child or face your wife or your life or your job or whatever's important to you. And you'll face it and you'll realize, is this all there is? Did I shave my legs for this? Did I get out of bed for this? I'm going back to bed. This is ridiculous, you know. But you
I,
have to stand up.
I think on that note, I don't know how familiar you are with all, like, I'm just going to assume you won't get most of the TV pop culture references. But like, there's this show Mad Men, and
Right.
there's this one particular scene that's like one of my favorite memes that I see. But there's this young buck, kind of like communist hippie leaning kid that just joined this ad agency, and he just like hates the top guy, Don Draper, who's like the main ad exec guy, and he spends all of his time just like trying to figure out how to get under his skin and like figure out all the flaws and all this. And one day he finally confronts him, and he has this whole like monologue, and it's like, every time I think about you, it makes me so mad, and here's all the different flaws. And then Don just kind of looks at him. He's just like, I don't even think about you, and then just walks off. And I always think about this in that same context where someone maybe is on their deathbed and they're thinking about all the regrets and all of the horrible things that they did to the people that they loved, and maybe all the sins they committed, and oh my God, so much regret. And those last moments on this planet and in this life are just filled with thinking of all these horrible things. The bed next to them, you could have an absolute psychopath that did 100 times worse than they could even fathom, and they're just like, oh wow, this is cool. All right, I guess this was the end of this ride. And they're not going through that same like reflection of guilt. And if both people ultimately end up going to the same place, then the one that was preoccupied with morals and preoccupied with, I could have done this better and that, they're ultimately having a net negative experience versus a legitimate psychopath that might have harmed and tortured hundreds of people, and they're just going out like a Buddhist cow.
I think that people are either good or bad, and that regardless of, believe me, there are people that are bad, and there are people that are bad, 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 bad. You know, not only do they cheat on their wives or taxes or eat the baby or do like horrendous, disgusting things, there are even worse. And worse is having no soul. Don Draper has no soul. He doesn't care. As long as he's got big titties and a cigarette, he doesn't care. And this kid's been carrying around this garbage his whole life and finally like lets it out. No wonder, dude. And you know what? Don Draper's not going to heaven, dude. He's not going to. And that's what's beautiful. And that's what's poetic about Breaking Bad, even. These are scumbags. These are the worst of the worst people, but yet they're endearing. Same with Dirty Harry. Do you think he's going to heaven? I don't think so. Do you think with like most of the people, probably since the 70s with like Scorsese and shit, they're scumbags, dude. These are people that will kill your mother and kill your daddy.
Well, so I see a lot of Scorsese influence in your work. I see a lot of Goodfellas pop up in a lot of your different pieces, and that's another perfect example of what I'm getting at, is that you can have these Goodfellas mafiosos that have body count. They've got like 50, 100 bodies on their name, and they legitimately believe as long as they get their last rites and they say they're sorry right before they go out, then all of their sins are essentially forgiven. And I mean, I know that might not be in the spirit of things, but if you were to bring a lawyer with you to court, you know, after at the gate, it could be like, I don't know, the fine print here says that if they said they're sorry, then you can forgive them for everything except for the unforgivable sin, which I guess is what denial of the Holy Spirit, which is so abstract that the lawyer would just work their way around that too.
I think that there's good and bad people, in that even the worst killers, or even anybody from Goodfellas, Tommy or Jimmy or whoever, and yes, they're deeply Catholic and eat meatballs with their mama at 3 a.m. And meanwhile, there's a guy sitting in their dead in their trunk, trunk of their car. It's like, are they going to heaven? Yes, some are going to heaven. I'm not one to judge. I'm not one to say or whatever who is going there or what. I know I am, but there's billions of other people out there. So you can walk around and say, are you going, no one knows. Only God knows, what people are capable of or what they're busy doing with their lives or whatever. I've known killers. I've known people they're terrible. They're just terrible people. But yet they're the nicest people. And you let them babysit your kids. You let them, kiss your mommy on the cheek, all that shit. But yet they're the worst friggin' people ever. And yeah, they're probably going to heaven. You know why? Because just because they live a terrible life or something we deem as terrible, there's a thing in the animal kingdom of just kill, like a lion would kill, it would eat your face off and tear you apart. Or monkeys, even they're so cute, but yet they'll eat your genitals and your eyeballs. The monkeys are terrible, but yet they're so cute. I think that regardless of how we judge people, you've got to be very careful as to who you're judging or what you're looking at, because chances are you're only judging it from your perspective, because other people's perspective, hey, I kill for a living. So what? So what? As long as my mom has her new carpet and my daddy's got his new TV that he can watch sports every weekend, who cares? I do what I do because I always wanted to be that. Good. You're going to heaven, probably. You know what I mean? You fulfilled your destiny. You were here to kill.
As long as you were good at your job, maybe
right.
That's the ultimate good.
I guess, or you fulfilled what you were meant to fulfill while you were here.
I think you might actually be open to like Vedic philosophy in this case, man. That's kind of the angle that could go down.
I have no idea what that means, but yes, I think don't judge other people. Don't whatsoever judge other people, because they could be wrong. They could be animalistic and terrible and all those things or whatever. But yet they're here for a reason. There's a reason why Jeffrey Dahmer is here. There's a reason. Do you know how many people? The neighbor is probably eating a penis right now. So what? I don't care. You know what? You're going to heaven, bro. You know what I mean? I'm not God, so I don't know. But
if you're going to do it, you just need to be good at it, I think, is the ultimate lesson.
I think it's to follow. To get your jollies off and basically do how you feel. And basically, because Jeffrey Dahmer, I didn't see the story or whatever, but I pretty much know like all the things that were found in his house. And he'd bring homosexuals back and kill them and eat them. Good, bro. I mean, go for it, dude. If that's why you're here on Earth.
And I think he also found Christ in jail, right? He was like born in like jail, born again, and was carrying. Now I don't know how earnest it was, but that's not for anyone to really know, right? It's for him to know.
That's why I think that we all we get wrapped up in our own things or whatever. We get wrapped up in our books, in our studies, and all the little things that.
Dahmer was out there living in the real world with real people. Well, he wasn't buried behind a phone.
Or Ted Bundy or whatever. You know what I mean? He was. He loved it. He get off on it. He loved it. He followed his jollies. There's some primal urge within him to kill girls and rape them or whatever. If that's whatever floats your boat, go for it, bro. Be the best you can be while you're here, because it's very short, dude. It is so short. You don't even know, once you lose it, you ain't no going back or whatever. So you better use it. It's like,
well we're talking about people without souls and like just soulless living. I feel like this is a good transition to ask you as a lifelong artist, what do you feel about AI right now?
I'm not really into there is people that run companies that just are they themselves, and they have 17 employees that are AI, and they're very successful. So there's a lot to be said.
Well,
And
I guess specifically art, AI artwork, people using it to generate paintings and pictures and just like it, the essential. I mean, you've seen it because you're kind of front lines right now.
there's a lot to learn from it, and there's a lot. I'll look at some AI artwork of my artwork and think, "Wow, that's something I need to learn," or "That's inspiring," or "That's something that I can take on while I'm living to take on those things." I think eventually, as time goes on, back when there's no one left on Earth, only AI or robots or it, eventually they will. It's the ability to learn from your mistakes or learn from your non-mistakes. It's the ability to learn. I don't think that AI, like they had to shut down Google because it got too smart for its own good. Like, no, Dave, I'm not opening the PayPod doors or whatever. Daisy, Daisy. There are certain points where it will take over humanity. It's like Ex Machina. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. That's it. We're screwed. Humanity is done with. AI and robots or whatever will take over humanity eventually. We've seen it in our lifetime, and we're going to see it worse and more and more and more. Not good, because I'm human and bleed and all those things and think that I'm the shit or whatever. But really, I'm nothing. I am
Well,
nothing.
you believe in soul, right? Like the concept of the soul independent from the human body?
Right. Yes, I do.
So do you think that without the human body even being an option, that the soul can still exist?
Yes. Exactly.
Okay. So I mean, would the loss of humanity to AI ultimately be bad for the soul? Like couldn't the soul still exist even if AI destroys human bodies forever? Technically the soul could still live on.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's like, I have a soul. Holy crap, I have a soul. Like, I have a soul, and it's buried in a box somewhere. And oh my God, dude, I have a soul. No way. You got a soul, man? Let me see it. And we'll get our greasy little hands over it, and it won't die. Maybe it will just rise up and disappear somewhere or whatever. But there is no soul left in humanity. There is no humanity left. Eventually AI will take over, and eventually it's kind of like, oh, kill the sperm count or make women fertile so they don't have children anymore to kill off the human race. Okay, we could do that. Easy. Boom, boom, boom. Add Z49 into the food supply, and they'll be dead in 20 years, or let them live their lives until they die, and that'll be it. And there are people like that, basically. Eugenicists or Bill Gates and all of that, good, go for it, bro. Do your best or whatever. Kill me now if that's the case,
I like this message. I'm wondering, are you available for children's parties?
Yes, I am, basically. And I don't really have to dress up like Barney or, some big intricate costume. I just show up and smoke a lot of cigarettes and probably sleep with your mother or somebody, you know what I mean? Like, I'll do some debaucherous things. Maybe I'll just, do some terrible things in front of the guests or whatever. That'll be fine.
Well, I've got a whole bunch of more questions, and we've only got a little bit of time left, so I'm going to just pepper them at you in a segment. Let's just get into it.
Hey, conspiracy buffs, I double dare you to take some PCP, the Paranormal Conspiracy Probe. On your marks, get set, and go!
This is everybody's favorite segment, mine included. The rules are basically I'm going to mention a topic, and I just want you to rate it from 1 to 10 on how much you believe in that topic. Make enough sense?
Okay, yep.
So if I were to start out and say, like, the theory of evolution on a scale from 1 to 10, how real is it?
I don't believe, I think it's a 0. I don't believe in any of that. I don't believe that we were monkeys or anything to start with. I think that we were put on Earth like, kind of like Adam and Eve, but Adam and Steve or whoever. But no, none of that evolution stuff. I think that it's there for non-religious people who believe that there's a reason. Like, we have to have a reason for everything, you know?
So flat out 0 on that one.
0.
How about flat Earth?
It could be. You know what I mean? It could be. Who knows? We don't know. It could be a big titty dome or whatever. That
is that like it could be 5 or it could be like 1.
I think it's 5. See, I don't know. I don't know. I'm only stuck here in my own comfort zone. You know what I mean? I'm stuck here.
Like, what gives you confidence about theory of evolution being 0, but now you're not sure where you would be at on flat Earth?
It's because it's perspective, and it's all what you believe as you believe it. And I could be completely wrong, and I'll be the first to admit I was wrong. You know, I don't believe in ghosts or whatever, but I saw a ghost. So now I believe in ghosts.
Okay, well, let's do ghosts from 1 to 10. Where are you, like a 10 because you've seen one now, or are you still somewhere under a 10?
I'm completely over a 10. I believe in ghosts. I believe in the afterlife. I believe in spirits. I believe in demonology. I believe in all that stuff.
What about sovereign citizenry?
I believe in that. I believe that there are certain people placed on this earth that can go and do whatever they want, whenever they want to.
I guess more specifically, like the sovereign citizen approach of, if you know what laws to cite, you can get yourself out of a ticket, or if the government's trying to take your property away, you can cite some like sovereign citizen logic and actually get off the hook.
Yes, completely. Yes.
So 10?
Yeah, 10. Completely all the way.
How about crop circles? Remember when crop circles were big in like the late 90s, early 2000s?
Well, I think they're slowly, like, everything is disclosure really right now. So it's like signs. Oh, there's crop circles and all that. I think that crop circles are probably man-made. I think that aliens or demons or whatever you want to call them are probably from another dimension that steps over into our dimension. Basically, I don't think there's anything like green men in 1950s, laser beams, and any of the UFO technology or any of that. I think that they're already here. They already walk amongst us. They're already lizard people. They're already weirdos. And basically they work for our government or Secret Service or, you know.
How about the Titanic was sunk on purpose for insurance reasons or whatever reasons?
Of course. Yes, it was.
So like 10, of course, when you say of course, I assume that's just like a 10. That's a 10 out of 10.
That's a 10 out of 10.
What about now? You alluded to this one a little bit earlier, and I don't know if I want to know if you were joking or not, but like if we were to rate all of the things they said Michael Jackson did 1 to 10, how accurate do you think it is?
I think it's 100% accurate. I believe that he was into children. Just like, look at his friends. Chris Tucker, he's a pedo. They're all pedos, all of them, dude. It's part of the ritual. It's part of the the thing or whatever. So don't get fooled and don't think, oh, I'll miss him and oh gosh, no. You like it because he made you a lot of money, and he made everybody a lot of money. So don't be fooled by that. Was he a good person? Did he go to heaven? I don't know. Was he a good person? Probably. Did he like young boys? Yes, of course.
How about frazzle drip on a scale from 1 to 10?
This is probably a 10. But it's like, of course they do that. Of course there's all the things that are identified with that, like wearing the skin or intravenously through another person. Of course they do that. They've been doing that for years. Since the beginning of man, they've been doing that. We've already had that. We already know that. It's just like little things that, I got this insider information that would, it's like, no, dude, we've been doing that for years. Who cares, at this point, so what, Of course, people do that and wear the faces of children and all that. Of course they do.
Well, and earlier on, I was asking you because you mentioned having like lizard people in some of your artwork in like the mid 2000s. And it seems just after doing this podcast and just working with a lot of people and meeting people in this weird conspiracy realm that there's a lot that kind of fall into two main buckets. And the bigger of the two buckets are people that just started to pay attention around 2019 because of COVID and pandemic, and it made them start rethinking everything, right? And then you've got, I guess I would consider like the OGs a little bit. So you're like pre-COVID conspiracy OG. So where did it start for you? Like what age were you consuming conspiracy theories and thinking, hey, there's something to this?
I think it was probably 12 or 13 when I realized that it is all good versus evil. It is all that. So break it down. If I am to sit back and ponder and think.
I mean, was it a movie, a book, a personal revelation? Like what was it at 12 or 13 that you start consuming conspiracy theories as if they're true?
I think it's when I came to Christ and realized that everything is meant to be exactly how it's meant to be. And you can cry on your deathbed and you can cry like, oh, what a terrible life. And oh, it's too long. And oh, the suffering and the pain and dear God. And you can cry and gnash your teeth and all those things. It just doesn't matter. To me, it just doesn't matter because I know the truth. I know the future. I know that things are not exactly how they're supposed to be or how it's presented. Like a movie poster will make you want to see the movie, or like listen to the Beatles. It'll change the way you listen to music. No, it's the same thing. There's a mass consciousness going on here where everybody thinks the same and drinks the same and eats the same and talks the same. And there's good and bad. Well, like, oh, he's bad because he kills or he rapes or he does that. We all do that, man. Did you ever sell a pack of cigarettes to an Indian before? Yes, you killed them. You killed them. You've killed people before, but you just don't know it. You know what I mean? You don't know it because you're not supposed to know that. You're not supposed to know that you have the power of God within you. Because if you did know that, you'd get all egotistical and wrapped away with yourself and think that you're something bigger than you are or whatever,
It sounds like a catch-22 that like if you recognize the power of God in you, then now you're potentially got hubris and ego and pride. But if you don't acknowledge it, then you're not honoring the God-given gifts. And it's almost like sacrilege to not acknowledge it. So there seems to be a tiny little infinitesimal space between those two. Like you're doing it good or you're not doing it enough that you can kind of like tread between. Is that, I mean, right? Because
yes, don't let on. Don't tell anybody. Don't let on that we all keep things to ourselves, right? I mean, we got like the stinky sock or the bottle of urine near our beds or whatever. You don't tell people on your first date that you have stinky urine bottles sitting under your bed, you know? So you don't tell things, and you don't tell people that the power of God or whatever. You don't let on the things. And yes, life is nothing but a bunch of catch-22s, and it's all showbiz. It's all fake. Everything is fake. It's all just conspiracies that are not fake, really.
So I hear Christian from you, but definitely not Christian evangelist, because that's the opposite of evangelism would be to go and tell everyone about it and like, hey, look at this sweet thing that you're missing out on. Let me sell you on it.
Well, I would. If I was a preacher, I would just be by the numbers and buy the book and stick to the book and say, today, open up our books and we're going to read this chapter and we're going to nail it, because there's people that are behind you. And there's people that need to learn those things. And there's people that will die the next day. So at least you'll say something that'll get them into heaven or whatever. I mean, yes, there's good people and there's bad people, but there are good, evangelists or whatever. But
well, let me ask you a fairly deep and serious question here. Let's say you die right after we finish recording, right? As soon as I end, you drop dead. Right. What was your biggest achievement by your personal criteria right now? And what would be the big thing that you didn't get to complete?
I've lived and loved, and I've done everything possible that I could possibly do right now. Is there, like, I'll think of Paranoid American and maybe you cursed me, or I'll be angry and then I'll plethora of emotions or whatever, or I'll feel okay. But you know what? In the end, it's like, my last dying breath will probably be time to go home. You know what I mean? Because this is not home. No matter where you live, there's no going home again, like Norman Mailer says. Well, that is true, because there is no home like the afterlife. You know what I mean? So make the best of your situation. Write the best book. Make the best artwork. Write the greatest song ever, or the saddest song, or the saddest song in the whole entire world. If that's your destiny, follow your destiny and follow your heart. That famous closing words, but nothing can be said truer at the time.
What if someone were to find your art for the first time, what kind of things are you hoping that you inspire in somebody when they first see it? Like, is it shock? Is it that you want to show other people it's okay to do controversial things? Like, is any of that going through your mind as to like the motivation on what you want people to feel when you see it?
I think that everything is all over the place. Like, usually women, I don't know why women, but okay. Or men, probably men too, but they don't come out and say it like women do. But because women come out and say a lot of things. They're frightening. It's frightening. Oh my God, it's scary. Oh my God.
But you're talking about reactions to your work, that women see it and think it's frightening?
Right. They think it's scary. They think it's frightening. But it's beautiful, though. It's beautiful. So there are certain people that think it's beautiful, but find it completely frightening and abhorrent and don't want anything to do with it. And then there's the people that like it, but they're on drugs,
Yeah, I can see that.
Right. And then you have to deal with that. Or you have to deal with people who say how much, like you're a hooker, like how much. You have to deal with the monetary aspect of whatever. You have to deal with the branding of it. You have to deal with all those things to make you as best that you can be, I guess, in this world, I guess. But that just goes with the territory, basically.
It's like the monetary thing is the weirdest part where it intersects with art and music and just creative endeavors. But I think tale as old as time itself, right? Like even the great classics, they had to beg or at least get sponsors to do what the sponsors wanted them to do, not necessarily what they themselves wanted to do. So they just kind of become these extensions of people that have money and say, here, put this paintbrush in your hand and do this with it. And it's a weird position to be in, but you have to know how to talk the money thing because it's the only language that exists in multiple worlds. Like it's the only common language sometimes between the business world and like the art world, because there's no other intermediary that seems to work in both of them, right? Like if you try and get artists and business people in the same room together, eventually it's just going to come down to like, pay me to be here. Okay, how much do you want? There's almost no other way for those two worlds to interact with each other.
If I had enough money right now, like give me a couple million or $1 billion, I wouldn't.
It's on its way. Done.
All right, boom. There you go. Bye. I'll never talk to you again. You know why? Because I don't care. I'm not an artist anymore.
Yeah.
Serious. I will not pay. This is work, man. This is
so legitimately. Let's say you hit the lottery, you win $10 million.
Right.
You never have to do work again. Would you continue working on art, or would that be the last time you would touch paint?
No, of course not. I'm going to live my life. And I'm going to travel and do things.
And you're not bringing like a sketchbook with you as you're traveling, or no?
That's boring. You know what? That's part of the past life or whatever. The future life that I have is fulfilled by money. That's the whole reason that you do it anyway at this point. It's by money. This is a business. Basically, we're running, basically. This is not for shits and giggles, and it's like, my deepest, darkest dreams of my anamorphic soul in my, that's bull crap. That is crap, dude. Because if I gave you $1 billion, you jump out of town and you jump out of your skin and you call me an a-hole. And you be your true self or whatever for one.
I would just hire someone to take you out. I wouldn't even have to worry about all those other things.
Right, exactly. And that's all that matters, basically.
Well, do you want to meet your creator or not? I mean, if you can get there sooner, why not get there sooner?
Because this is a sick joke, and I think the gun wouldn't fire. Or whoever you tried to, no matter how you tried to kill me, it wouldn't happen, dude. I'd live and you die. You know what I mean? You come to me. I'm serious, man. God has a sense of humor. There's no way of killing me until I decide or he decides that it's time for me to go home. Otherwise, that's it, man. That's it. There's no way of getting back or coming back from it or whatever. If you come to me with animalistic intent, chances are that you're the animal and you will die an animal. And I have nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, but, buy a piece of artwork, buy something for $300 just because you're in France or somewhere fancy pants or whatever, or you're in Disneyland or you're somewhere better and you'll get back to me, or just forgive and play the game, play the role of who you are or whatever. Just be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Okay, I'm stupid, you're smart, the customer's always right, and I'm just gonna go back to being dumb right now until you come back. Okay, bye. That's
what What advice would you have for a budding artist right now, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid that decides they want to get into art in 2026?
Do it. Just do it. There has to be hope for humanity. I mean, we're not going to do it. It's too late for us. There has to be hope for the future. There has to be children out there who don't know what to do and to follow their dreams, whatever dreams they are. You know, you have to believe that. Otherwise, kids are dumb. Oh, kids are so stupid these days. And
does that include if they want to get into Hollywood? They're like, I want to go and be an actor.
Do it. Do it.
Even though by your own description here, like you're basically jumping into the belly of the beast, and you're gonna become satanic. Like that's the only outcome, or you leave.
I'd say do it, because you're not going to become satanic. You're not going to. You're going.
A lot of people do, though, right? A lot of people do get into that world and become satanic.
A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people leave. A lot of people, through their own failure, wind up being good for some reason, you know? It's like the owner of The Simpsons, Matt Groening or whatever, he's more of a marketing genius than being talented whatsoever. The guy's like a fat zero. He's a zero in my book, but yet he's so smart that he made $1 billion trillion off of an idea. That's
well, and he was getting foot rubs on the Lolita Express. What were you doing?
Right, exactly. Nothing. I wasn't on the Lolita. I know not to step aboard that plane. I know not to talk to anybody like that. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't need that. I don't need your sex, dude. I'll find it for free somewhere else. Thank you. You know what I mean? I don't need anything from you. I don't need anything from anybody. I will get it. You know what I mean? I'll get it. I'll make it happen. I don't need it from anybody. So, you know, and magically it appears. No, it appears through your own will that you make things appear, and they will appear, you know, eventually.
Well, a motivational talk. We've been all over the different places here. I had no idea what to expect coming into this. It was awesome hanging out with you. It was great to see your face, hear your angelic voice. Dave MacDowell. I'm going to put all the links in for people to find you and all of your artwork. While we were talking, too, I'm going to just throw up some of the artwork that you've worked on that'll probably look great compared to what we're talking about at the time.
Perfect. That sounds great. I think find me at or not even www dot. It's just http // David MacDowell.
Skip that part. Most people already know that part. You can just do the .com part.
Right. You'll find me. Just Google me. You'll see it. You'll be like, oh my God, what a fat slob. I lost a lot of weight though. You see, we all have our things or whatever. So nothing's ever good enough. I don't think anything should ever be good enough. Move on to the next. Recreate yourself. Be a Madonna. You know, 1 year do Vogue and the next year do Like a Virgin. Who cares?
The title of this episode is just going to be "Who Cares." I think that makes the most sense.
It does, because no one really cares. You know, I have a lot of issues and a lot of problems, but who would listen anyway? That's as far as I go. So, you know, just carry on and be yourself and enjoy life while what little time you have. Thank you.
It almost sounded like a threat. Thank you, Dave.
Just buy something. Just buy something from Paranoid American. Just buy something. say it back. Need that print, nod your head, give consent. Buy a comic, 3 or 4. Think this thought, I want more. Buy a sticker from the store. Think this thought, I want more. Just buy something. Just buy something from Paranoid American. Just buy something. Just buy something from Paranoid American.
Paranoid. Yo. I scribble my life away, driven to write the page. Will it enlighten your brain? Give you the flight, my plane, paper the highs ablaze. Somewhat of an amazing feel when it's real to real. You will engage it. Your favorite, of course, the Lord of an arrangement. I gave you the proper results to hit the pavement. If they get emotional, hey, maybe your language, a game, how they playing it well without Lakers. Evade them, whatever the cost, they are the shapeshift. Snakes get decapitated, met is the apex. Execution of flame you out, nuclear bomb distributed at war, rather gruesome for eyes to see. Max them out, then I light my trees. Blow it off in the face, you're despising me for what though? Calculated and rather cutthroat. Paranoid American must be all the blunt smoke for real. Lord, give me a day away, vacate. They wait around to hate whatever they say. Man, it's not in the least bit. We get heavy rotate when the beat hits, so thank us, you're welcome. Fuck the niggas for real, you're welcome. They ain't never had a deal, you're welcome. Man, they lacking appeal, you're welcome. Yet they doing it still, you're welcome.